So then, body arises around feelings, thoughts, intentions. The body forms around those. I said it backwards. In a way, I guess we see it that way, in that the body is here. Sorry, the body's here, and then the thoughts, feelings, blah blah blah, are like around it, But in actuality, they're there first, and then the physical world through the body appears within that. And so then this is like a wheel, If it's an animal human hybrid body, it means it's the other way around, and that from there they didn't, it's done differently, basically as kind of like a program, in that it won't hold the same capacity for information that the human holds. Basically, it won't have an emotional continuity that will be capable of relaying information in conscious format, or self-aware format, self-conscious really. And for that to happen, you have to have kind of you have to have soul symmetry, which is a kind of energetic symmetry, in that each implementation of your consciousness and all the possible variable parallels, exponential impositions, or extrapolated kind of like projected forms, calculated forms, or imaginary if you're using computer systems, and computer generated and this and the other, algorithmic. But your mind is in a way a bioorganic computer system, so your thoughts are these parallel calculated forms. If you're having, where would the parallels of your life be if this is like the center of your mind and these are possibilities? Well, they're out in here as solid, like worlds, complete worlds, if these thoughts were consecutively, progressively expanded upon until you became large enough to comprehend that amount of information. If your life had that many information module slots for that amount of change and variability, which in the center point has to have, sorry for the noise, spokes, if you will, for where they can all connect. And so then, once we get around here, we're hyper-processing memory, time, reality, change, and a max minimum of probability. We're basically watching the edge of time that we're either growing or not growing, and then once that's grown, you can't change that from there. It's basically as it is for time. And then it fits into all of time, and it has to have this threshold as all of time is kind of moving forward with expansion and contraction in this kind of dilation system, and you're staying in sync to basically match with the edge of time as it expands. Otherwise, you lose out of sync, and it's like now your time is kind of shrunk in the reflection or relation to overall, and that's this kind of like imbalance that might be stitched into humanity through certain technological systems or certain restrictions and mental formatting and genetic issues that could be detrimental for the consciousness there. You could end up with a finite. You could be finite in infinity, meaning you could never ever get all of what's there, and then, or you could be infinite in affinity, meaning you basically have infinite you, where you and the other aspect of that is your love, and so then you can take that and create universes. And so it's basically you love spirit or fear. And it's not that you love spirit, it's that there's a spirit of love or a spirit of fear. The spirit of fear is manufactured. It's like a joke people are playing on people. And so then, it's like a time crystal diamond thing over there. But now you have this system over here. And, sorry. And then the wheel has to be trued. So, sorry for the lighting. That's crappy lighting. Sorry for everything. The wheel has to be trued, meaning your parallels, your thoughts, your emotions, your intent, all have to come centrally together, equally, like symmetrical, not fighting, like, cells in disease, but working together towards a common goal, and it all reigns in and goes together. So then where we experience things not being right or being painful or not expressing ourselves or not serving the purpose of what we're seeking, it's not so much a right or wrong thing, it's that things are out of order, or a sorting process has to be done, or different levels of this, which could be like days or aspects of your growth phase in life or aspects of your identity and stuff. They'll overlap, or the edges will be jagged, or the centerpiece cherry, whatever it is supposed to be here, so you can see everything perfectly, will be over the line, and you're kind of like in between worlds. When we grow through adolescence, this is what's happening. It's like the world is changing. When we're born, same thing. It's the world is like malforming, and we don't know what's going on. It's an apocalypse, and so and then we see, and then what this looks like, kind of, it's the same concept for a sun, where really you have information, which is your soul, disc, shield, pleroma, membrane, whatever. It's coloring on the glass. It's scratches. It's the way it lines up. It's the sheet that has every little thing about you, only it's wrapped into a plasma form. And then it's that thing. And so then you have this luminous power within you, your consciousness, and that shines out. And so then that's the projection system that's coming from our soul, the way we do that. And in eternity, you're just shining out what you are. That's what that's what it is. And when your lines go straight because you're true, your wheel is true, you can go out forever. The universe is, and what we're in now is an archival holographic reality. Basically, it's not living until we get to the threshold because somebody did a kind of haphazard, programming for the system, and so it was dangerous, or it was too dense and too difficult. The reward's so great that it was very, very, very challenging, and a lot of people didn't even know what was going on halfway through it, and you can't really give up. You can't not make it. It doesn't not happen. It doesn't not work. It's just people literally didn't know what was going on. It's kind of like, well, that's not how it's supposed to happen. And so ascend mofuckers, because that's bridging the gap between the highest and lowest polarities, which are actually just reflections of one another in a different, like, weird cosmic mirror. And so then blah blah blah. This is kind of like the archival matrix, but it's almost like this is technological skin graft, artificial into real skin, if you could kind of imagine that. And we're growing through that to get to something else, or we're not going into that, or we went into that while everything kind of went away, and then we're coming back out of it. But that just means that we went through it because it's time. It's constant start to finish. It was beginning doing something with that, basically. Productionism and this, that's not even really. All right, so interesting. Recipe for the future reality: emotion, timing, intent, presentation, self co-creation. Because through this process, we're being given what we have, and we're being given opportunities to make the best with what we have, and then that is taken and grown more from that. So that we have what we're doing. We're making recipe. We're making a pie. I don't know, maybe, yeah. And then a baker comes, and he doesn't like eat it or whatever. He comes and like sells it he doesn't sell it either. He like gives it, but to the town, to the larger town. Okay, easy way to say this. We have 3D, you're aware of your body, your cells, everything that's there. 4D, you're aware of everything that happens in your whoops, that's not how you spell time. Well, that's weird. Lifetime. And so you have everything in that. And then 5D, you're aware of all of your timelines as one, to the point where you become a self-collective based upon all these, which in this point of view, I'm a human, I got these ideas, this is days. Okay, in the larger view, these are different lives in different worlds. And then from that 4D, you get one you. From the 5D now, you get one you from all possible yous. It's like you're a collective. And what we call 5D, if it was a 5D civilization, everyone there would be collectives of everyone they ever could have been in that society that they come from. And you just have huge collectives of people that know what entire worlds would know. Hint, hint, we could be in that now, and they could just say, oh, every, now every comedian that you see is smart enough and fast enough and quick enough and entertaining enough to have their own special. When back in the day, you wouldn't see that. You'd see so many stragglers, so many people trying. It's almost like everybody's just good now. We could be in that state and not even know it, and it could just be a high level of intelligence. As well, we could all be mixed, because why wouldn't we? I mean, what are the animals?